Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Yinzer Brothers podcast. I am TJ, and I'm here with my brother Tim, and we again are the Yinzer Bros. And Tim, once again, is donning the Franco's Italian Army helmet. 9 games, 9 times he's had the helmet. We are 9-0, Tim. Tim, that helmet looks great on you. How does it fit? How does it feel?
I mean, it feels like it's getting smaller each week, huh?
So you're saying your head's getting bigger?
Yeah, it has to be. Something's going on with this helmet. It's squeezing my brain every week even harder and harder.
I believe it. Now, there's a bunch of reasons that maybe it's doing it. I know that you had mentioned right before we went on air here that you had down. What did you just have? What did you just eat?
Why do we have to bring this up to the public? What I just had?
There might be a connection to the helmet. I don't know. What exactly did you just have?
I had a couple scoopfuls of Ben and Jerry's.
I thought that was a pint. Did you have a whole
No,
pint?
no, I couldn't go through a pint. I had probably a third of a pint.
A third of a pint.
Is that what the little ones are? Those are pints?
Yeah.
About a third, but it was like peanut butter. I got like peanut butter stuck in my throat. Still stuck.
Oh gosh. I hope it doesn't mess with the podcast tonight, because that'd be bad.
I mean, if I go out that way, it's the way I want to go out. Some peanut butter stuck in my throat.
That's true. I get it. So you're here today is the Steelers Bengals postgame podcast. Our Steelers, the mighty 9-0 Steelers, defeated the Bengals 36-10. And I got to say this, Tim almost called the game.
Everybody's scared about the Bengals. Ooh, Bengals can come in here and upset the Steelers. Ooh.
I did hear a lot of that this week. All the experts were like,
"What did this expert say? We're gonna mop them next week's the game. You got to be worried about."
You're right. So Tim almost called the game. His game score was 34-10, and we won 36-10. Tim, that was pretty impressive.
I mean, the Bengals stink. They suck.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
And for you to make I'm sorry, TJ. Joe Burrow is not the second best quarterback in this division. He was terrible.
So who's better, Burrow or Baker Mayfield?
They both suck.
Well,
no, he's better than Baker, but I mean,
he is.
I'm not putting him above Lamar Jackson. You must be banana land.
Well, so Burrow was 21 for 40.
Mm-hmm.
Again, 185 yards, a touchdown, no picks.
He threw 40 times and he had a $185.
Yeah, it's true.
TJ, you can't even do that if you picked up a video game for the first time, all Madden, you just like the first time I'm ever playing this, and you throw the ball 40 times, you should be able to get 185 yards. I think maybe no.
Unless you throw lefty, Tim. I don't know.
TJ, those are Turkey Bowl stats.
They are
40 times for 185. Come on, you suck.
Yeah, it was bad. So, I mean, nonetheless, this was a great game for the black and gold, another victory for us. And for me, I enjoyed it because it was a game that we didn't have to have a heart attack with. The Steelers, for the most part, were in control the entire game, which I really loved.
I wouldn't let Ben practice ever again. Ever.
That's right. That should be
ever again.
It's like the old Allen Iverson. Practice?
Ever again?
Practice? Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, I think that's the way it should be. So it was a great game. Tim, what are some of your initial thoughts about the game today?
Number 30 stinks.
Oh, you're right.
And
Connor struggled.
He's on the list, man. He's not on the list. He has toes approaching the list. He's got to stop bouncing everything to the outside. Just hit the stinking hole.
I watched him miss at least 3 of his reads today. I mean, blatant, where he's running outside of his blocking. I don't understand that.
Just hit the hole. Just hit the hole, man.
So what are some of your other thoughts about the game today? What did you like?
I mean, passing game looked great, but you couldn't run on the Bengals. That defense sucks. The Bengals defense stinks. I mean, you got to run the ball. I do not want to see Ben getting. If you're playing good teams, Ben's going to get hurt. He's gonna get hurt. You can't. I mean,
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the offense. You're right. We struggled to run the ball. I think it's we have no rushing attack at all, which is sad. I mean, it's sad. Now, I was a little inspired when Snell came in later. I like the run between the tackles, run hard. I don't understand why Connor. The few times he got some yards,
Snell was running against guys like me and you. So I mean, let's just keep that real.
Yeah, well, that's true. But I think Connor, when he had a couple decent runs, they were between the tackles.
Yeah, and I still don't understand. They did a lot of, and I think teams are getting hip to it. That end around, that wide receiver end around, they just that went nowhere today.
Mhm.
Absolutely nowhere today. Connor's got to hit the holes, man. Just hit
He
the
does.
holes. Just if it's 2 yards, 3 yards, hit the holes. Quit trying to bounce stuff outside.
That's right. You take what they give you. I mean, here's another take on the offense. So Ben looked fantastic. These are Ben's numbers today. Again, he threw the ball 46 times. We don't want to see that, but he's 27 for 46, 333 yards, 4 TDs, a 110.1 QB number. That's a good day at the office.
That's what they when they pull him about 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did. I mean, that he looks fantastic. The offense put up 377 yards of offense this week, which is pretty good because only 44 of that was from the rushing game.
Just, I get it, and he looked good, but what that recipe gives you is a first-round exit from the playoffs. That's what that recipe gives you.
Yeah, we got to figure out how to run the ball. I just there's something I don't know. I don't know if Connor's not seeing the field. I don't know what's going on, but it's
I don't know, but I don't know what you can do. I mean, you can't do anything about it now because I mean, Snell. Ever since Snell fumbled the ball, he is not running like he was. Mm-hmm. I mean, does the rookie McFarland? I don't know. You can't put Samuels back there. Samuels, he's running in sand. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
So what are some of your other thoughts about the offense? I mean, passing looked good, right?
Oh yeah, Deontay Johnson's a monster. So is Claypool. I mean, the receiving core is just. You might as well pick your poison. It's a shame that James Washington is good, and he can barely see the field.
You're right.
You know, so it's just their receiving core is just something nasty, man. It's just something nasty.
You know what's funny too? It's amazing. The oldest in the receiving core is Juju at 23.
That's bananas to me, man.
I mean, if you take Ebron out of it, but that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
But to me, out of all those receivers, they're all great. Claypool's great. There's just something about Deontay Johnson that I think is when he has the ball in his hands, he is just electric. I don't know. To me, my opinion, I think he's their best receiver. He's electric, man. He is electric, man.
He's quick. He reminds me of Brown. The only thing that I struggle with Johnson every once in a while is he drags his feet. There was like 2 or 3 times that he tripped himself up. Sometimes he tries to be too shifty, but I think he's young, so I think he'll learn. You know, and he's definitely he's a lot faster on turf than he is in grass. That's for sure. But that's not a knock against the guy. We have an amazing receiving core. What did you think of the line today?
I mean, I thought they played well at times. I mean, again, when they were trying to run the ball, Cincinnati was pretty much camping out in their, you know, in the backfield. But I mean, Ben was hurt a couple times. I mean, I thought it was I didn't think it was spectacular, but I thought it was okay.
Yeah. I thought they played decent. And, I think part of our running on the outside too, I don't know, we got McDonald out. And Ebron's not known for his blocking ability.
Oh, dude,
so I don't even know what
I saw him whiff like 1,000 times on blocks today.
Yeah, so I don't know why we were trying to run outside. So who's your offensive player of the game?
I mean, it's easy to say Ben because he was just nasty.
So who's your second?
I'm gonna say Deontay Johnson. What do you have? $130, $120 in a tutty?
He had a good game. Let's see what he did. He came in at let's see, 6 receptions, 116 yards, 20 yards an average. That's not bad. It's good.
He had a tutty too, right?
He did. Yeah, he did. So this is great. When you talk about Johnson, Schuster, and Claypool, between Johnson had 11 targets, Juju had 13, and Chase had 10. It's a pretty good day at the office.
I mean, the receiving corps, but I will say the Bengals defensive backfield, They
they're
suck.
they're
I mean,
bad. They're terrible.
I've seen some bad ones in my day, but they'd have been better off grabbing people out of the crowd there in Heinz Field.
I think you're right.
Maybe grab the crying Bengal lady, throw her up, throw her to safety or something, man. They were bad, man.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Ben, but I'm also, I'm going to take a little different approach. I'm a Deontay guy, but just the amount of things that they can do with Claypool and the attention that he grabs, I'm going to put Claypool out there. I mean, he had 2 touchdowns again, and he just creates so many matchup issues for the defense.
Mhm.
And I mean, you can use him everywhere. He's flying all over the field. There was even a few times, man, he could have had a couple more deep catches where, I mean, most receivers don't even get a chance to get in position to even have an attempt to catch the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually makes a chance at it. So I don't know. I think the offense looks good. I think we needed a good offensive output game, and I think we got that. Let's flip over. Let's talk about the defense a little bit. The defense today, 4 sacks, 2 takeaways, only 185 passing yards, which is incredible. So they got like about $140 running. What are your thoughts about the defense today?
Weird seeing it. You could see the difference, man, because they were trying to, I guess, rotate Alualu out of that game here and there. You saw the rotation. When he wasn't in the game, they were getting gashed, man. When he was in the game, seemed like they were stuffing the run, which was stunning to see. Thought they played well. Bud Dupree, I don't know where he's been at for the past 2 games, man.
Yeah, he struggled. Bud struggled.
I just don't know where he's been. TJ almost had what I called a hat trick. I mean, he had 2 sacks. I think I called 3 he was going to have.
You did.
He had 2. The 2 guys that jumped out to me the whole entire game were Cam Sutton jumped out at me,
good.
and Hayden.
Yeah,
those two jumped out at me the whole entire game, and I know who led the team in tackles, so you don't even need to tell me.
Who led the team in tackles, Tim?
It's not even worth me saying his name.
That's right. Edmonds did. Your guy.
Yeah. You don't think I do my research? Oh, I knew that one. I knew that.
He actually had a pretty decent game. I gotta give it to him. He was in the right place at the right time most of the day.
Yeah.
Let's just be real.
I saw one play. He got pretty lucky. He should have been burnt like the other side of the toast, whatnot.
I mean, the Bengals, they're not a bad group of receivers. They have a decent group of receivers.
They're good. They're okay.
Yeah.
They're okay.
Yeah.
They're okay.
I
They
mean,
should have. They're the Bengals, man. They suck. They're always going to suck. I don't care if you could bring in Tom Brady. They're still going to suck. Yeah. They're the Bengals.
I like
you know what I would do, truthfully? If I'm the state of Ohio, anybody living there, when Ben retires, I would force him and I would make him like the mayor of Ohio because he owns that state. He owns everything in it. It would be their chance to be a winner one time. I mean, he owns it. I would just let him own it. Like, just whatever.
Yeah. I love what Tomlin, my coach, said. He said their approach in this game was to create such a mental fracture in Burrow's head that he would always remember playing the Steelers. That's amazing. So he says, we're going to set the tone right now of what AFC football will be like for this young man for the next few years. And I'm like, I think mission was accomplished.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, we'll see. The games that he looked good, I rattled off the good defenses they played against, and he did absolutely nothing in those games.
Yeah, well,
I did good. I watched Tennessee again play they play Thursday night against the Colts? TJ. I mean, Phillip Rivers, he can't move, and they weren't even near him. They weren't even blowing on him the whole entire game. I'm going.
He's got the weirdest throwing motion I've ever seen too.
He looks like he's like, what are those what's that what they do in the Olympics where they throw the ball from the
shot
chin?
Putters?
Yes. He looks like he's doing, man.
He looks terrible.
But they don't. I mean, Tennessee, they couldn't even lay a finger on him. Tennessee stinks, dude.
They're falling out of the sky. They're not doing very well. There's some teams that are coming to earth, man. I'll tell you what. Seattle. There's a few of these teams, man. They're starting to really struggle, which is amazing. So, who's your defensive player of the game? You want to say it.
That'll never come out of my mouth. I'm gonna say Cam Sutton. He jumped off to me. He had the forced fumble. He was jumping off the screen to me quite a bit this game.
He was good. I'm gonna jump to Hayden. I think Hayden had a great game.
He did. He had a great game too, man.
They chewed on him a little bit. And he looked great. And I got to say, I think they're starting to come together. Again, it's the Bengals. But man, when they're firing, it's impressive. I was impressed too. Spillane was there for most of the game, but we didn't see Williamson till toward the end. And it's funny. I think one of the guys said, "Well, he's struggling to see the field right now." That's impressive. That's amazing.
I'm not making this up.
Mm-hmm.
I was ready to text you because I didn't see Spillane do diddly poo all game, and I'm not lying. My hands were typing to you, and the next play,
sack.
Spillane had that sack. And I just stopped. I go, I don't.
And what did I text you? Do you remember?
41.
That's all you need to know.
But he just seems like I think he's part of the run. They're not being able to stop the run either because he can't shed blocks.
Well, if you get into him, he's done. I mean, he's not big enough to do that.
I want to see this dude Williamson. I'm still claiming it. He will be the starter.
He might be.
It's tough to say by December. It's like in 2 weeks. At some point in December, he's going to be the starter.
He might be. I think, the nice thing is we have the luxury of kind of bringing him in slowly, which is good. That's not too bad. Okay. So before we get rolling, let's open up the Yinzer mailbag. You may ask, what is the Yinzer mailbag?
I will say this though.
Uh-huh.
I gave you my offensive player of the, but the overall player of the game, Ray McLeod is ridiculous. He's awesome. He's awesome. I mean,
it's a good switch for Switzer, huh?
That the Switzer. Ben's BFF. It's the only reason why he's even remotely was in the NFL. But dude, Ray McLeod
he's something else, isn't he?
He's good. It's like
he's a game changer.
You get that feeling when he's returning punts, like when Antonio Brown was back there and kicks. Like when he brings it out, you're like, you don't go, "What are you doing? Like, stop doing that!" Like, but because you're like, he may break one. He is electric.
He's electric. He is. He's electric. I love it. So let's open up the Yinzer mailbag. You may ask, what is the Yinzer mailbag? It's the chance for you, the fans, get to ask the Yinzer brothers anything you want about the Steelers or about the podcast. Heck, we'll even answer questions about your pet, food, anything. We'll talk about anything. We're that starved for affection. Again, if you got any questions, you can send them to yinzerbros@gmail.com. Again, here we got a few things in the Yinzer mailbag. The first is this. Once again, the Steelers are struggling to run the ball. Why do you think that is? It's a good question.
Why do I think that is?
Yeah, why are we struggling to run the ball? We struggled today again to run the ball.
I mean,
I got to tell you this. Today, I saw holes open today, and I saw Connor run outside his blocking schemes.
I don't disagree with you this time. I think a lot today was Connor, but a lot in general is they don't run the ball enough. They go away from the run, but today, Connor, he was just missing holes. He was bouncing everything to the outside. They were there. I think they could have. Cincinnati's one of the worst run defenses in the league. I mean, you keep saying this. At some point, it's going to come back and bite them. I don't know. I don't think it's the line. Do I partially think it's Ben when he starts getting into his mode of writing plays up in the dirt, of course, because he's going to chuck the ball. But, Connor's just hitting holes, man.
He does. He's again dragging his feet. He goes down. He did mow that one guy, but I think they just kind of ran into each other. So I don't know. Here's another question. It says Ben looks better and better every week. Why is he having such a good year? That's a good question.
When's the last time Ben had a crappy year? Let's just be real. Yeah. It's not like since Ben's been Ben, he's not like Ben's in the bottom third of the quarterback. He's never been like that. He's always been a top 7-10 quarterback. So I don't want people to I'm so surprised. He's good. He's good at football. That's why he's having a good year. I don't even think he's having that good of a year.
I mean, I think from a touchdown to, maybe not from a yardage thing, but from a touchdown to interception ratio. I don't know if I've ever seen him this careful with the ball.
He's getting away with a lot of stuff, man.
Well, I
I,
mean,
I
all
see I
quarterbacks
see the
do.
defense dropping a lot of stuff, but to me, I've seen years of him better, but I mean, he's good.
Mhm.
You know, I don't think
But but the Ben of the past. I mean, think about this. Think about his reliance on Antonio Brown. He could throw the ball to Antonio 19 times a game. What I like this year is he's got everything spread pretty even. Let me look at the wide receiver numbers, and I was impressed when I peeked at it
see, but
initially.
here's my thing though. Was that a feed? I mean, was that a more or less keeping Antonio Brown happy?
I think it was. You remember the
Because
one time he apologized to Antonio Brown at a press conference? I'm so
because
sorry for and
because
he was a
because to,
diva,
because to me, when Juju kind of started coming along, AB wasn't getting 15,000 balls a game.
and he was
So,
whining.
so I mean, I don't think he was forced. I mean, I think sometimes Ben was forcing AB the ball to keep him freaking happy, to keep him shut up.
So these are his targets: Deontay Johnson 11, Juju 13, Chase 10, Ebron 6, Washington 2. That's not bad. I mean, when you talk about your top four receivers,
Mhm.
they're all within two or three passes, which I think is fantastic. I like how he's spreading the ball around. I think it's really good.
To me, it's like when people are like, "Oh, you're surprised good." I'm like, seriously, when is the last time Ben had a like? You're going this. When's the last time you ever thought about maybe Ben needs the we need to move on from Ben or we need to bench Ben? It's never happened in his
Yeah,
17 years. So
yeah.
I mean, it's not like to
No, I
me
agree.
this if the doctors wouldn't have been able to put his arm together, they didn't think he could play. He wouldn't have came back. To me, I'm gonna expect what Ben. I'm gonna expect Ben. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing Ben. I think he's having a good year. He's having a good year. He's not having a great year.
Yeah. But we saw flashes old Ben. You see that one where he's running out there, and for a second it looked like he was going to run, and then like it looked like he was running in quicksand, and then he decided to chuck the ball. And what about that time? Do you see when he moved up into the pocket?
Yeah,
He bought another extra second and a half and hit
but
that open receiver.
the one thing I can't do every week, every single week, there's some point in the game where with the arm, I'm like, I do not want my throat going down into my gut. I hate it. It's every week because I sit there probably the rest of like the quarter gone. Ben's arm's done. It's gonna fall off right now. Next throw. I'm just sick. That's one thing I'm totally. Stop doing that. Stop. They need to stop doing that. It's just Ben needs to stop doing that.
Did you see too the one play where the one defensive lineman went into his knee?
Yeah.
All I could think about was Carson Palmer and was that Von Alhoffen or whatever it was.
I'll tell you what would have happened. that one thing I always send you that gif with the mayor of looks like the mayor of Pittsburgh up on the steel.
Uh-huh.
That guy would have been waiting outside the locker room, waiting to take number 95 out with his
You're right.
with his Steeler jacket on, his penguin hat, and his pirate. I don't know, button down. He'd have been coming right after 95.
Oh, that'd been bad. Yeah. I think Ben's having a good year. I think he's just smarter. And, I think he's having fun again. I think, sometimes you don't realize what you have till you almost lose it. So I think he's cherishing the year that he has, which is good. Here's another good question. Tim says it looked like Edmonds had a decent game. Tim, is Edmonds off the list?
No.
He's still on the list with 8 tackles. No,
Edmonds needs to have a franchise-changing play to get off the list.
Like the Immaculate Reception? Is that what you think?
He needs to I vision Edmund needs a play to when Troy parted the sea as he held the ball up going to win the AFC title. Edmonds needs something like that. He needs something that's I'm going to go, that dude just won us a big game.
Well, it may happen. You never know. It may happen.
No, probably not.
So he's safe on the list. His spot's safe. So Edmonds, in case you're listening, your spot is safe on Tim's list.
I mean, I'm not going to say that. It's too mean to say, but I heard an Edmonds had a hamstring thingy and I got little butterflies in my stomach, but it was the other Edmonds brother. So I was like, come on. So
You're right. No, he's not the right one. Here's a good question. We kind of touched on this earlier. Where did the Steelers find Ray McCloud?
I thought they like called him out, and he was like he was picking up garbage or something. I don't know what he was doing.
So he was at Clemson. We know that. I think the
Yes.
Bills drafted him, and then they released him.
I
Who
think
else
what he
picked
did
him
was
up?
he got released because he had like a crushing fumble at some point for the Bills,
Oh,
and they released him. And I think he was like sitting in church or something like that, and he got a text from like, "Want to bring you in?" And he came in, and that dude's electric, man.
how do you release a guy with his talent?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I just want to give him a hug. He's
He changes the whole dynamic of the game. He gives you the edge in in the special teams. It's just amazing.
he's so far removed from the list. It's unreal.
He's good. Here's another question. It's a good one. It says, with the lack of effectiveness of Connor, why don't we see more Benny Snell or any of the other running backs?
Because they suck too. I mean, the only one I'm kind of perks my ears when I see is the rookie. But I mean, for all I know, he's got the COVID, and they keep him far away.
He
Keep
just,
him far away.
I don't know if McFarland's big enough. I would like to see more Benny Snell.
McFarland's not that small, dude.
Yeah, what's he, 5'9", 200, something like that?
I think it's like 5'9", 205. It's still a stocky dude, man. It's really, I mean,
Oh, for 5'9", yeah.
yeah.
I mean, when you think about it, you're like, what, about 6 foot, 225?
I run high. I got that Eddie George stuff around.
Yeah. Whatever.
Did you see the late entry for the Yinzer mailbag from Marky Mush?
I did not see. What did he say?
Well, I will say this. No text from Marky Mush today.
Oh, every time he doesn't text, we seem to do well.
He finally texted me right when they were going to put in stupid face. I said, "You're safe,
Mason."
now." Said, "You're safe now."
So what did he
right.
send?
He goes, "Nice win, Yinzer Bros. Okay, question for TJ. Does Ben really need a full week of practice? Maybe COVID list him each week. And how many throws are left in his arm this year?"
Well, you think of it this way. Does Ben need more practice or rest at this time in his career?
He also puts, is the walking boot really magical?
I think it is. Do you remember the movie that was where the kid found Michael Jordan's shoes? And as long as he had his old shoes on, he could like dunk and do all kind of stuff. I think Ben's walking boot is the equivalent to MJ's original Air Jordans. I think that they got to dip that thing in gold and put that thing on display right next to the Lombardis.
Do you think the walking boot talks to him at night? It's like,
It
hey.
probably does. Tells him what to do. It probably gives him insight into not just the game, Tim, but to life.
I mean, do you think that truthfully Ben's got a banged up shoulder? He gets home at night and, him and Ashley want to sit by the fire and he just puts that walking boot on even though the shoulder's hurting.
It's probably is magical powers, like Mr. Miyagi powers. Have you seen the little GIF thing with Ben and Mr. Miyagi?
Yes, I have.
Oh, it's like the greatest thing ever. I think, oh, that's so great. I would say this, even if you look at Ben's practice week anyway, he gets a couple good days off at practice every week. He has to because of his body. I mean, the arm is what it is. Let him knock the rust off. You actually almost called this too. You said usually after Ben, Ben's going to be out. He's going to throw for like 700 yards. And he looked sharp. In fact, this is the first time he actually hit a deep ball. That big rainbow he threw, man, to Johnson was beautiful.
He looked electric. All right. Tim, how was it going through the game without soiling yourself? It was very well. Went very well. I didn't even have to change lucky positions.
That's nice. It was a relaxing game. When we're in the driver's seat at the beginning to the end, that's a nice game.
I mean, I even let my daughter take TJ. She threw out every single ball out of that ball pit. Every single one was on the floor. All 250 were all on the floor. I just said, "Go ahead, knock yourself out, kid." That's how happy I was during this
good day. It's a happy Tim. Trust me. You want to encourage. You want to deal with the happy Tim, not the angry Tim.
I mean, I don't even know if I want to read this question.
What's this one?
Since you live in your fears, Tim.
That's true.
You do. I do. What is the injury that would derail the season and cost the Steelers a Super Bowl berth? I mean,
don't even speak that out.
Next. Come on, Mush.
Yeah. This is let's use the reverse psychology on it now, on the universe, right? This is what we'll say. The most crushing thing that could ever happen to the Steelers is if Tom Brady breaks his left leg. Could that possibly happen? Again?
No, because you know what? All it's going to happen is another robot's going to be at his house. They're going to put his skin over the robot, and it'll be fine.
That's true.
And the last question. So would you like to retract all the hate on the Steelers pick of the Canadian stud in the draft?
Hey, not only is he Canadian, but he's a Notre Dame guy. Second rounder.
I told you, he's my guy. He's my guy. He's my guy.
He is. He's like double good because he's got Canadian blood and Notre Dame roots.
He's my guy. He is my guy.
Well, I was talking about it. Actually, I have another question in the Yinzer mailbag. It says, is Claypool on pace to possibly be in the Rookie of the Year? How many TDs does he have now?
I think he's got 6, 7.
Yeah. I mean, he's got to be. I mean, again, it's not the total yardage, but man, you talk about somebody that just has taken over the league.
Me being a true Yinzer, yeah, he's the man. He's the Rookie of the Year. But being realistic, I mean, if they're gonna give it to Burrow, just because everybody's like on, I don't think he's that good. I mean, he looked like he was at times today. He looked like he was seeing ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
As later in that game went on, he looked like he was seeing ghosts. And to me, all the people saying he's going to be, I don't know, dude. I think he's going to be some ordinary quarterback. I don't think he's going to be the hell's bells that we got to be worried about for 20 years.
I hope you're right. I hope he fizzles out of the league. That would be great.
I'm going to say he fizzles out of the league, but he's going to be sure. He'll be a little bit better than Andy Dalton. That's what I'm going to say right now. That's going to come back to bite me. I can feel it right now.
I just might. I don't know. Here's an interesting question. This is actually from your one of your family members here. What does Tim's Thanksgiving plate look like? Now, we just did get some word that Tim is not. He does not cook the turkey. Have you ever cooked a turkey, Tim? No. So now usually your father-in-law comes down, who's an amazing cook, and he cooks.
Yeah, he is awesome.
With the COVID stuff, he's probably not going to be part of the Thanksgiving this year. So Tim, if that's the case, what does your Thanksgiving plate look like this year?
For all I know, I could be having gas station pork rinds. I don't know.
Oh, happy Thanksgiving to Melissa, that lucky woman.
Mean, when we were talking to her, I was like, I went to instant panic mode. I started Googling, turkey dinners and stuff popped up, like Popeyes does a turkey dinner.
Hey?
No. Well, I mean, I've cooked stuff before.
You could figure this out.
I've cooked a what are those things called? The smoker.
Pork butt?
I've done that's easy. The other one that's kind of a little more difficult. The burn ends. What are those?
A brisket?
A brisket. I've done a briskets before. So I mean, I've done stuff. I mean, put a little butter in. Fine. Put a little butter in it. Throw in the oven. Put a little timer in it, and you should be good to go.
Just make sure you take all the innards and stuff out. I
got to do that. Because Melissa asked me, does that come with the stuff inside? I go, I think so.
It's in a bag. You'll be fine.
I mean, but I do have vision.
Just get one of those turkeys that it actually has a thermometer and it pops out when it's done. It's stupid proof. Get a bag and you're fine.
But in my head now, I'm kind of going, do I just, when I look at the cost of putting all this stuff and kind of maybe screwing up at the end, wouldn't it just be worth it just buying it from a restaurant and just like, here you go?
You could.
But I don't know. We'll see. I'll probably try to cook it, and I'm praying to God it just doesn't, I don't go to put the knife to it, and it's like the Christmas Vacation where the turkey's
That's right. Yeah, you ruin it for everybody.
So we're gonna. But my typical plate, turkey. I'm a big stuffing guy.
It's amazing you like stuffing that much, and you're still only 225.
I mean, when you're out there playing in a turkey bowl, dominating.
When's the last time you were actually in a turkey bowl, Tim?
Oh, probably the last time this wire was serviceable.
How many years has it been since you've been in a turkey bowl?
It's been quite a long time. I don't even know how old I am. I'd probably say good 13, 14 years.
So you were retired from the turkey bowl, if I'm doing the math right, when you were in your late 20s.
It actually may have been earlier than that.
Tim.
My last turkey bowl was when I was playing with you guys.
Was that out in Denver?
No.
Illinois?
Yeah.
Sweet Lord. Yeah. You played a long time.
That's probably what I'd say probably about 23-ish, 24. Holy mackerel,
You hung up the
man.
cleats. You hung up the cleats in your early 20s.
I was so dominant. I wanted other people to have fun.
Yeah.
I was afraid.
Well, Tim,
I was
you for
afraid
that.
somebody wanted to sign me. I said, no, this is a
Yeah.
young man's game.
That's right. Sometimes you got to just bow out gracefully. That's impressive.
I go out there now. I'd pick like the game with like the 8-year-olds can just dominate.
You would for like at least half till they figured you out that you couldn't throw, run, or pass.
Dominate. But I mean, typical plate for Tim Harris, some turkey. Love the stuffing. I'm not a big, we're Greek. I'm not a big Greek stuffing guy. I'm more of a traditional, my mom used to make the Italian stuffing with the sausage. Love that.
Yeah.
Little
Yeah.
corn, some mashed potatoes, some.
You a sweet potato guy?
Do I look like a sweet potato guy, TJ?
You do.
Yeah. And it has to have
the marshmallows, the brown sugar, all of it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, a lot of that has to be on it also.
Cranberry sauce? Are you a cranberry sauce guy?
I mean, if it's there, I'll take all pieces.
But how about the what is it? The green bean casserole or the green bean, whatever that is?
My wife's more a fan of that. If it's there, I'll have a little serving of it.
Is there anything on the Thanksgiving table, Tim, that you would turn down?
Is there anything on? No.
No, that's good. I got to tell you this. So we had Thanksgiving with them last year, and your father-in-law makes a homemade tiramisu that is absolutely ridiculous. I'm a tiramisu guy.
It's pretty it's pretty delicious, man. It's pretty delicious.
Oh, so
I thought about maybe trying to fry a turkey, but I'm afraid I just burn my house completely to the ground.
You could smoke. I smoked one 2 years ago. Dad thought he told me I was going to ruin Thanksgiving, but it actually turned out pretty good. I'm going to smoke another one this year. I have a Traeger. I'm going to put it in the pellet smoker, smoke it for.
You got that nice Traeger that you kind of just feed itself. I got to go out there every hour and put wood in mine, and knowing by Thanksgiving there's probably going to be 6 feet of snow out on the ground. Sounds like a hard pass on my end.
So I'm gonna make a prediction right now. Before Thanksgiving starts, Tim will be purchasing a turkey.
You
pre-cooked from somewhere.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. After I get off this podcast, a lot of YouTube searching how to cook a turkey. If it looks more difficult than it is, we'll see.
It's easy peasy. Hey, you know what? You'll figure it out. Here's a couple more questions in the mailbag. Who is the biggest threat to the Steelers in the AFC?
Who gave you this question? Did you just make this up?
No, I didn't make this up. I think this came from Toby, I think.
I mean,
is that Kansas City, you think?
It's the only team. Well, I mean, Baltimore's there, but it's Kansas City.
Hey, when I checked, I mean, the game's on tonight. It's 7-7. Wouldn't it be great if old Cam pulled one out for us? And
I'll tell you now, if Baltimore loses another game before Thanksgiving, it's over. This whole division is – if you be essentially, 4 games up on them?
Yeah.
They already have 2 losses, right? And won the Steelers. So essentially, you got a 3-game lead on them right now.
You do.
They lose
you
New
the
England.
Tiebreaker.
It's divisions. It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Well, and you know who's nipping right at their heels too is Cleveland.
They stink.
No, I'm talking about them. I'm not worried about them for us, but I mean, they could overtake them.
They ain't gonna no, Cleveland's made of mirrors. What's gonna happen was, I mean, to me, they lose in New England. I don't know what the hell that guy's name is that does a Steelers song. You better start queuing it up quickly. Start writing it now. Start writing. If they lose tonight, I'd be at probably 11:59. Start humming it up, dun 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 dun, just humming it up.
So what's the better Steelers song? Is it the polka or the fights or the Here We Go song?
I mean, I'm old school. I love the polka, but I mean, you can't put the new. I mean, you got to let that go. You got to let that go. It's got to stay there in the past. The Here We Go. I mean, I grew up on the Here We Go, so it's kind of like that too. So I mean, I don't know. There needs to be a new song. Both their songs suck.
Yeah, we do. Maybe
they don't
we can write a new one. No, they don't suck. They're in the blood. No. Do you see any other threats in the AFC? I mean, you look at Tennessee, they're wilting. What's in Indianapolis?
We'll see. I mean, they're going to be in Pittsburgh.
Buffalo, they lost today on a Hail Mary.
They got their hearts ripped out. Hate to see it.
Did.
Just hate to see it.
Here's a good question. Oh man, who is the Steelers' best wide receiver?
I already answered this question early in the podcast. Who I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think Deontay Johnson is electric.
I think he's electric. I mean, here's my challenge with Johnson. Sometimes a little injury prone, right?
Agreed.
And he's not the biggest guy. He's fast. So who do you think is so you think Johnson is the best?
Yeah.
I think you got to factor everything. You got to factor size, health, all the stuff you can do, the danger they are to everybody else. I mean, obviously, as far as from the danger standpoint, it's Claypool. I think he's a big one too because he's fast and he's big. From a catch everything, turning into that Hines Ward kind of receiver, I think it's Juju.
I agree with you, and I think, I agree with you with Juju. But I mean, I see this way this offense goes when Deontay's in there and he's healthy.
Oh yeah, when he's in there, he's healthy. It's amazing.
Different. It's different.
It is.
It's different.
It is.
He has that AB feel to him, man. Where he's going to come up. He's going to be he's going to be your big play clutch guy when you need to. I mean, I can't say it because Juju's there too, because Juju gets those grimy third downs.
Juju, 13 targets today, 9 receptions. Deontay, 11 targets, 6 receptions. I think Juju is, when the money's on the table, he's also your guy. He seems to be clutch. And I think he's just gotten bigger and stronger this year. He looks great. Here's a great question. What percentage of the game today, Tim, were you shirtless?
0. I had my shirt on the whole game.
All right. Maybe thank God for that.
That shirt smells. TJ,
you got to, Tim, you can't touch anything.
Rampant.
The Steeler, all of Steeler Nation is depending on you. You can't mess with it.
It's rampant. Trust me, I thought it was going to be. I did for a split second thought it was going to be a bad day for me today. I went out this morning. Pumpkin that we had in the front everywhere. Animal got into it.
Oh no!
And I'm out there cleaning it, and then I look over. Who comes looking up to come eat some more pumpkin? Mr. Squirrel. He takes a look at Mr. Harris, and us two meet eyes, and he goes, "Party's over," and I just get out.
I'm surprised he didn't show you the middle paw, the middle finger of his paw.
Oh, he did.
Well, he's a good judge of character. He is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad you wore your shirt today. Oh, here's a good one. Tim, were you happy with the play of Barry today?
Yeah, he was actually good.
He was.
I mean, I thought when the wind was kicking up, I was like, I'm guaranteed Barry's going to kick one over his head. But he was pretty good, man. He was pretty good. I mean, special teams was good.
They did. I tell you, Ray McLeod makes a big difference. This last one was put in by your wife. She said, since the Yinzer Bros have been doing their podcast, the Steelers are 9-0. Is that a coincidence?
I said it a couple weeks ago. I mean, we may be magical.
We might be.
We may need to be put in some type of ring of honor.
I'm up for that.
If this team goes undefeated, I mean, we may have to go get our lips on that sticky Lombardi.
That's what I'm saying.
COVID
and all. Let's bring it on. COVID and all.
I mean, if they run the table, there should be billboards in Pittsburgh of the Yinzer brothers.
Mm-hmm.
It just isn't, to me. Hey, it is what it is, man.
All the smiley face cookies we can eat, Permanente sandwiches, as far as the eye can see.
They would have to. That would soon come to the stratosphere of having to knock one of my walls down in my house to get me out of my house.
Tim and your 600-pound life.
They would have to come with the crane. I'd have. Is Richard Simmons still alive?
I don't know. I read he was being held hostage by somebody. I don't know.
I'd be on TV. Somebody would be coming in having that come to Jesus talk with me about you got to get up. You're gonna die. Melissa would be sending me to fat camp. They'd be taking me out of that.
Actually, that might be closer than you think. Merry Christmas to Tim, right? That might be where you're heading anyway.
What are we
All right.
talking? I'm 225, buddy.
Yeah, 225. I like to see some picture evidence of that.
I mean, I'm 225, and I may or may not be sweating profusely right now.
I think you probably are. Well, that does it tonight for the Yinzer mailbag. Again, if you have any questions for us, any comments, any ideas, any endorsements, you can email us at yinzerbros@gmail.com. Again, yinzerbros@gmail.com. If you're lucky, we may answer one of your questions on the show, which would make you famous on this national podcast. So the Steelers play the Jags next week. Should be a great game for us, but we're not going to worry about the Jags.
Smell that?
You think it's going to be a Tomlin special?
You smell that one?
Tim living in his fears.
down in Duval, you smell that?
Oh, Tim living in his fears. Let's hope he's wrong. But we're not even going to worry about that. Tonight we celebrate because our Steelers moved to 9-0 by defeating the Bengals 36-30. So we're going to live in that. We're not going to live in our fears. We're going to live in the reality that we're the only undefeated team.
I can't believe some of you stooges thought the Bengals were going to beat the Steelers.
A lot of people did. A lot of people.
I mean, do you watch the game of football? The Bengals suck.
They do. So I wondered this week, you know what's been bugging me is when I listen to commentators through the week, it's always been about how the other teams have lost, not how the Steelers have won. So they're not going to talk this week about how the Bengals lost this. Are they going to actually give the Steelers credit?
No.
For winning?
No, because what's going to happen is people are going to go back on the Bengals do suck. They're not good. They're not good. I said it from coming to this game. They stink. I looked at them. I go, let's look at their schedules. Look who they beat. These games that were close, or these playing teams close, because the teams they play close suck too.
They do.
It's a big suck fest, and they suck.
It is. It's bad. Well, we celebrate.
If anybody hasn't realized, there's like 3 good teams in the AFC. There's pretty much like 5 good teams in football. Everybody else sucks.
That's true.
So what I would do is just cancel the rest of the season, let those 6 teams play, and just go for the Super Bowl. That's it.
That's a good idea. I mean, you see the Eagles today. They looked awful.
I mean, it's got to be tough. It's got to be tough out there. Hate to see
Giants,
it.
I mean, they
hate to see it. Just hate to see it.
It was funny. I was listening to one of the commentators here, and he goes, "Yeah, they said the Eagles, they lost their cushion in the division." And I'm like, "Their cushion? They've only won 3 games?"
You know what the sad part is? One of those teams are going to host a playoff game.
They are,
and they're probably going to win. I'm just telling you, they're probably going to win because they're playing at home.
Maybe. I don't know if they're letting them do stuff. I don't know. So, Tim, anything you'd like to add before we sign off on the podcast?
No, the Bengals suck. I mean, every team in Ohio sucks. Once people realize that the state of Ohio stinks, Ben owns it.
Ben, Miami of Ohio, Roethlisberger.
He is. I mean, he is. I saw the best picture of him today when they had a picture of Ben's face with the Tiger King's hair on him and the Bengals in the background. One thing I did want to touch before this goes off.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever's in the Bengals PR department, they should have been fired pretty much on, I'd say, Tuesday.
Yep.
When they had that tweet come out on their social media with TJ Houshmandzadeh dusting the terrible tile with his shoes.
Bad.
Should have been fired.
You're right. Bad. I don't know why you do that.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Did you even see that Fort, who's not even with us anymore, he's with the Ravens, commented on it. He's like, if I were them, I would never do that.
It's like, why do you poke the bear?
I don't know.
I'm not going to go in the other room and start poking Melissa. You know why? Because she's going to rip my head off.
You'll lose that. That's true. Don't poke the bear.
No, she'll kill me.
Yeah.
And she won't even do it there. She'll wait till I'm sleeping, and then she'll kill me.
You're probably right. I was listening to I think it was NFL.com or something, and they were ranking the Steelers Bengals rivalry. And one of the guys said, "There's no rivalry. There's no. It doesn't exist. You have to actually put something on the table for it to be a rivalry."
It's the way those people in Ohio think. They're idiots.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Boy, I'm gonna get bomb threats from people from Ohio, but
you probably will.
Okay,
you probably will. Well, you know what?
Don't worry. Don't worry. They'll probably miss, so it doesn't really matter anyway.
That's true. Hey, you're willing to say what's on everybody's mind, and I applaud you for that, Tim.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean,
what teams they have to choose for? You got the Brownies or the Bengals. That's all you got. So Cleveland, they're struggling right now. That whole Ohio thing is just it's struggling. But you know what? Let's just keep playing them.
I mean, seriously, and the only reason why Ohio State's good is because they're probably paying 9,000 other players. So it doesn't really. I mean, it is what it is.
I would love it. You know, what would make my season complete for me. Used to drive me nuts every time you saw Tom Brady in his commercials. But I am so tired of seeing Baker Mayfield in these commercials. I wish they would stop.
They're not going to stop.
I wish they would. The only way I could see them pulling any of those things is if they bench him.
They're not going to bench him.
I know, it breaks my heart.
They're not going to bench him. It's not going to happen.
At least I don't have to see Jackson on any commercials right now.
He can't.
But who knows? That's probably coming.
Boy, something's going to slip out of
my
mouth.
I know you should. Yeah. So I don't. It's just me. So again, that's the Yinzer Bros podcast. I'm TJ. I'm here with my brother Tim. We are the Yinzer Bros. Don't forget, if you like what you hear, pass along the love, the podcast, to your friends, your neighbors, your family, diehard Steeler fans. That's why we're here. Yeah. Again, look for the Steelers Jags preview to drop later this week. But for now, we enjoy the victory. So we say thank you for listening and stay classy, Pittsburgh. Have a great night.